Welcome everybody to our Gemara Shir. Not exactly Amud Yomi, but almost Amud Yomi. We are in Shabbos Kuf Yud Daled Amud Aleph, towards the bottom of the page. New topic. The topic is the relationship, so to speak, relationship between Yom Kippur and relationship between Shabbos and Yom Kippur. I'm sorry. Technical issues here. Welcome everybody who's entering the room. Make yourself at home. So we're going to talk about the relationship between Yom Kippur and Shabbos. Which one is holier? Can you prepare from Yom Kippur to Shabbos? Can you prepare from Shabbos to Yom Kippur, etc.? This year is okay. This year is if for the Atzlocha and Atzolo for all our soldiers, and for the safe return of all the kidnapped people. Bezos Hashem. May we win this war, and Torah is what helps us in that. Okay, I'm sorry for this. 1 second.
Much worse. This
There is a little bit of a technical issue. Hashem. Okay, now we can properly start. I'm sorry. Okay, Rabbi Shmuel Omer Mekaplin. Yeah, we are 6 lines from the bottom of the page. Kufidal Damud Aleph. Tonu Rabbonon. Basically, we don't even have to repeat the Mishnah, because the Gemara will explain the Mishnah very well. The topic is, I'll tell you just in general, the topic in general before we start is as follows. Nowadays, Yom Kippur never falls on Friday or on Sunday, and that's on purpose, because Chachamim did not want to have 2 days without any melacha being done. It's not like Yom Tov and Shabbos where you can still, second day Yom Tov, you can bury the dead, Nefesh, but to have 2 days with complete non-melacha was too much. So when they were kovea, when they actually set the set luach, the calendar, the way we know it, that was at the times of the Gemara. That was after the Mishnah. A few generations after the Mishnah was already sealed. So then they already decided no Friday Yom Kippur, no Sunday Yom Kippur. This Gemara is just, is extremely different to that reality. We're talking about a very different reality. What happens if Yom Kippur is on Friday, Yom Kippur falls on Friday, or on Sunday? What happens then? And the first topic we're going to talk about, which is really reflecting what we saw in the Mishnah, is what happens when you have a korban. It's Yom Kippur on, let's say, Friday, yeah, and Friday afternoon happens to be Yom Kippur. You have to bring the korban tamid. The korban tamid you bring every day, morning and afternoon, right? So now, normally speaking, on a regular day, the evolim and chalovim, the organs of the behema, to burn them on the mizbech, you burn them in the afternoon and into the night, no problem. Maybe not but you can. Chalovim as well, before even the imurim, all very nice. Now, what happens when, let's say, it's a regular Friday? Let's leave Yom Kippur alone for a minute. What happens on a regular Friday afternoon, right? You have stuff to burn. You're Kohen, working in Beis HaMikdash. You actually are. You're going to work in Beis HaMikdash soon. You better get ready. And now it's Friday afternoon. Are you allowed to take those Friday, which is a weekday kind of korban, and keep bringing it on the Mizbech and burn it on Shabbos, on Leil Shabbos, which you call Friday night? The answer is no. You cannot bring any korban on Shabbos unless it's a Shabbos-dike korban. You're not really allowed to bring korbanos on Shabbos. What about Tmidim and Musafim? Thank you. Shabbos, before Psukim in the Torah, which we say every week in Musaf, Shabbos b'Shabbatoi, of course you can bring the korbanos of Shabbos on Shabbos. But you can't bring korbanos of Chol on Shabbos, not even leftovers. You're not allowed to burn stuff in Shabbos. Last time I checked the Chumash, and a weekday korban is not strong enough to cancel, right, and annul the Kedusha of Shabbos. That's basics. Now, what happens when you have now the same kind of tug of war between Yom Kippur and Shabbos, right? What happens when you have Yom Kippur on Friday, and you have the tamid of the afternoon, which happens to be Yom Kippur? Can I, release some of the lachats from the Kohen Gadol, right, and actually allow the Friday afternoon Yom Kippur, leftover evorim that have to be brought onto the mizbech, can they be brought on Leil Shabbos, which is Motzei Yom Kippur, Leil Shabbos? Yes or no? That's a I wish it was that easy, but that's a topic, yeah? Now, right, what about the other way around? It's Shabbos afternoon. Well, very nice, relaxed Shabbos afternoon. Happens to be Erev Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is on Sunday. That's the opposite case. Can I bring the Shabbos afternoon leftover? It's not even leftover. I'm saying the meat, the meat of the korban that has to be burnt to the mizbech, one point or the other. Can I be relaxed and not just do it all on Shabbos, but rather to push it to basically pass the buck, so to speak, pass the bucket, and bring those korbanos up on the burning fire on Motzei Shabbos, which is Yom Kippur, yes or no? These are the topics here, right? What's the relationship of Kedusha between Yom Kippur and Shabbos? When it comes to Yom Tov, as we're going to see, Yom Tov is definitely less Kodesh than Shabbos. Yom Kippur and Shabbos, they are runner-ups. There is one point in which Yom Kippur is less Kodesh or Machmir than Shabbos, and that is the point in Yom Kippur you don't get corporal punishment, or you don't even get punished by Beis Din if you break Yom Kippur. It's only kolos, not exactly fun. Mashenk and Shabbos, you get skila. But other than that, everything else is also. We all know Meleches Oichel Nefesh is also in Yom Kippur. So that's the question at hand. That's the topic. That's all. We're going to see now two opinions. Not so hard, just two opinions. Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva. Say that? Okay. Let's see. Tono Bono. It says in the pasuk we say every week in Musaf, Oil Shabbos b'Shabbatoi, right? Oil Shabbos b'Shabbatoi. The oil of Shabbos is brought on Shabbos, yeah, and it says b'Shabbatoi. We can break the pasuk into two. Oil Shabbos b'Shabbos, oil Shabbos on Shabbos, and then the letter Vav is it's Shabbos. In English, actually works even better than Hebrew. Oilos, every oil of Shabbos on its Shabbos, on the Shabbos belonging to it. What does it mean? So now let's break the pasuk Shabbos b'Shabbos. There are two types of Shabbosos. Shabbos Kodesh, Yami Cholent, yeah. And there's a Shabbos called Yom Kippur, Shabbos Shabbosoin. They're both called Shabbos, right? Both days of Shvita where you don't do Malacha. So what does that teach me? Says the first opinion, Limid al Chel v'Shabbos shekrevin b'Yom Kippurim. The Torah is telling me, yes, the Chalovim of Shabbos, meaning the Chalovim and Evorim, everything that has to be brought onto the Mizbech and be burnt from the afternoon korban, that afternoon korban of Shabbos, we're talking here about Shabbos that's before Yom Kippur, they can be brought on the other Shabbos. There's a relationship that you can pass the buck, you can postpone it, and keep bringing them up even into Yom Kippur, which is Motzei Shabbos. That's okay. One Shabbos can take care of the other. If such beautiful relationship, beautiful Shabbos Yom Kippur, all the same, is that so? Yochel Af Shalom Kippur Shabbos? Does it work the other way around? Can you actually bring Yom Kippur, meaning Yom Kippur is Friday? Can you pass the buck and give the leftovers of Yom Kippur to be burnt on Shabbos? They seem to be so friendly. Shabbos, Talmud Loimar b'Shabbat Toi. I told you there's the extra word Vav, extra letter. It's Shabbos. It is always, comes to be diminutive, to exclude. If I say here, there's a chair. If I say it's my chair, I'm getting possessive. It's Shabbos is coming to exclude and say, no. That really Yom Kippur cannot be brought into Shabbos, Diva Rabbi Shmuel, which is very, very easy. Really, after all said and done, and all the psukim, Rabbi Shmuel basically sees Yom Kippur and Shabbos not as equals. All people are born equal. Yeah, you Americans believe in that. Very nice. Yom Kippur and Shabbos were not born equal. In other words, Shabbos is more than Yom Kippur. In other words, yes, that's what we're saying here. For Shabbos to sort of throw, the leftovers in Yom Kippur is okay. But Yom Kippur relative to Shabbos is like chol relative to Shabbos. So says Shabbos to Yom Kippur, don't throw me your leftovers. You're just the chol. Yom Kippur relation to Shabbos, Yom Kippur is less. Yeah, so just like a regular Friday, clearly you dump the volume onto Shabbos, so to Yom Kippur you cannot do the same. Very good, says Rabbi Shmuel. That's opinion number one, Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Akiva Omer, Rabbi Akiva just came. Rabbi Akiva Omer, says Rabbi Akiva, no, Rabbi Akiva makes it much simpler. Oil Shabbos b'Shabbatoi, same pasuk, but he's learning it differently. Limed al chelvi Shabbos shekevin beyom tev. Ooh, welcome to Yom Tov, which means what happens if Yom Tov is on Sunday? Pick your Yom Tov, whichever Yom Tov. I don't know. It's a Shavuos, yeah. So now you have Shabbos erev Yom Tov, and the pasuk is telling me that the leftovers of Shabbos, the Shabbos afternoon tamid, evolim chalovim, you have to keep throwing them on the fire. Feel at home. Hey, no pressure. You can do it also Matzah Shabbos, which is Leil Yom Tov. Great, cool. Yochel af Yom Kippurim. Can you do the same from Shabbos to Yom Kippur? Which Rabbi Shmuel said yes. Talmud Lomer b'Shabbat toy. That's where Rabbi Akiva basically is saying no. You cannot bring from Shabbos into Yom Kippur, which means Rabbi Akiva does see Shabbos and Yom Kippur as equals, and both of them cannot throw their stuff from one to the other. So whether Yom Kippur is on Friday or Motzei Shabbos, nobody can take the stuff of the other one. You cannot bring the Yom Kippur korbanos or leftover korbanos, the chalovim nevarim, to Yom Kippur from Shabbos to Yom Kippur, and vice versa. That's Rabbi Akiva. It's very simple. So basically, Rabbi Shmuel views Yom Kippur as a little bit inferior, while Rabbi Akiva sees them as equal. Equal as no, each one to its own. So what's Shabbos b'Shabbatoi? Why is the pasuk telling me that there is some kind of permission to transfer from one holy day to the other? Because guess what? Yom Tov is also called Shabbos, because Yom Tov is also a day which most malachos are not allowed to do, right? And therefore, the chiddush is you can move the korbanos, the leftover, from Shabbos to Yom Tov, but not to Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is more than Yom Tov, obviously. Yom Kippur is more than Yom Tov. Yom Kippur is you're not allowed to do anything, right? Like Shabbos. Okay, thank you. The Gemara now explains. Thank you. The Gemara now explains what's the basic premise. What's the original idea? The starting point of both Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva. Yeah, where are they coming from? Says the Gemara, Kshetim Tzaloimer. Let's dig deeper into the logic of Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva. The diva Rabbi Shmuel, according to Rabbi Shmuel, Nedom Nedovas Krevin b'Yom Tov. You know why? What did Rabbi Shmuel? Did you notice Rabbi Shmuel ignores Yom Tov? Right? Rabbi Shmuel only spoke about Shabbos, Yom Kippur, Shabbos. Rabbi Shmuel doesn't hold that the pasuk is telling me anything about the ability to bring Korban Shabbos, pushing it into Yom Tov. You know why not? I'll tell you why. Because he believes that Nidor and Nidov is craving beyond Tov. What does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. Actually, I learned it recently in the Rambam. Lucky me. Hashem likes me, loves me. So now, the issue is like this. Are you allowed to bring a personal korban? Neder and Nidova is an example of your own personal korban. Which personal korban? Tons. Your wife gave birth, and Toida, Shlomim, whatever, yeah? Are you allowed to bring Neder and Nidova on Yom Tov, yes or no? It's a machloikes. It's a way to understand Machlokes B'Sila and B'Shamai in the Mishnah. It's not so simple there. In the Mishnah in Beit Tzadaf Yutes, and there's a whole issue there between the Tanoim. Says Rabbi Shmuel, yes, you're allowed to bring your own personal korban in Yom Tov. And I would say, Rashi said, you could bring it any time of the year. Hello, Mister. You dafka now remember to bring it in Yom Tov. You could have brought it any day of the year, and yet Rabbi Shmuel believes for whichever reason that it's okay. So you can mamish bring your entire personal korban, just leftovers of Shabbos. You can mamish start from A to Z, Chita, Kabbalah, Elocha, everything. Mr. Sheni Yid comes to Beis HaMikdash on Shavuos, Pesach first day, brings his own personal korban, it's okay. So clearly, the Pasuk doesn't have to tell me that Shabbos leftovers can be brought on Yom Tov. If an entire korban can be brought on Yom Tov, surely the leftovers of Shabbos that have to be now brought, because it's a day before, of course I can bring them. I don't need the pasuk to tell me that. If so, the pasuk is now available. Continue the Gemara. So when the Torah talks about you may bring from one Shabbos to the other, clearly it's coming to teach me from when to when, from Shabbos to Yom Kippur. Very nice, very nice. Because that I didn't know. Because of course on Yom Kippur I cannot bring my own personal korban. Clearly not. So then I need a chiddush to tell me that Shabbos can throw its stuff onto Yom Kippur. That's a chiddush. Thank you. That's what the Torah is coming to be mechadish. Rabbi Akiva. However, Rabbi Akiva has a very different perspective over here. He says, and by the way, halacha is like Rabbi Akiva. Nedorim and Adovas ain't kevin b'Yom Tov. No, Nedorim and Adovas cannot be brought on Yom Tov. No, Mister, we're sorry. But Oichel Nefesh is it. You want to cook your own cholent on Yom Tov? Delicious. Barbecue on Yom Tov? Okay, maybe fine. But Nedorim and Adovas, bring them any other day of the year, not on Yom Tov. So since I know Nedorim and Adovas cannot tolerate regular korbanos, now I have a question mark. Wait a second. What happens with this twilight zone in between? I have a Shabbos dike korban, and Shabbos was Erev Yom Tov, and I had no time to bring the chalovim and evorim, throw them on the fire before. Am I allowed to bring those leftovers of Shabbos into Yom Tov? Aha. The pasuk comes and tells me, yes, although you can't bring an entirely new korban and start the whole geschäft on Yom Tov of your own korban, nevertheless, you still are allowed to bring a Shabbos korban's leftover into Yom Tov. That you're allowed, and that's a chiddush. Mimela, we didn't have enough psukim for Yom Kippur. We use the pasuk for Yom Tov, and therefore Yom Kippur stays high and dry. Choshuva. Yom Kippur is as good as Shabbos, and none of them reciprocates. And you can't bring korban of Shabbos Yom Kippur Shabbos. Very good. That's how we left off with. That's Rabbi Akiva. Exactly. Rabbi Akiva says about the same. That's Adkan. That's Adkan Kofa Aleph. We're going to build now a second layer on that. Omar Rabbi Zera. Rabbi Zera, half of us in the room made Aliyah, right? I kind of half made Aliyah. I came back to Israel. Basically, Omar Rabbi Zera made Aliyah. Rabbi Zera was Zoiche. And what does Rabbi Zera tell us about his lifetime? He's telling us like this: Ki avina beBovel. When I lived in Bovel and I learned Torah in Bovel before I moved to Eretz Israel, Hava Amri, I thought, I said as follows: Had Tanya, there's a brisa that says as follows, and we're going to see his interpretation when he lived in Chutz La'aretz. Yom Kippur shechal yos erev Shabbos. Yom Kippur that falls on Friday. Okay. Lo hayu toikin. Oh, I want to bring you back to Daf Lamed Hey Amud Beis. Ooh, what did we learn Daf Lamed Hey Amud Beis? There were 6 kios that they were tokea every Friday, gradually to stop people from working in the field, in the shops. Then the 3 other tkios to the tkia to make sure people quickly set up the last preparation of the food. Then another 3 tkios to show that it's Shabbos. Yeah, tkia to show it's Shabbos. That's till today, right? We have the music on Friday, right? In many communities, it's very nice. It's based on Gemara, Daf Lamed Hey Amud Beis. It says, if it's Yom Kippur, if Yom Kippur is Erev Shabbos, you don't do that tkiah. Yeah, that tkiah doesn't apply. Ubamatzah Shabbos lo hayu mavdilin. If Matzah Shabbos is Yom Kippur, the other way around. What happens if Yom Kippur is on Sunday? You don't do Avdol. You don't do Avdol on the Kois, of course. You don't even do Avdol in davening between your Shabbos and Yom Kippur. In other words, Yom Kippur is, says the Ritva, Yom Kippur and Shabbos have the same Kedusha, same level of Kedusha. Chores. Nice at the end of the day, by the way, there's chorus in both. Shabbos has even a higher level of skila, right? So the the more or less the same, says the Ritva, the Kedusha Arichta. It's one long day of Kedusha. So there's no need to separate either by entering or by exiting. You don't have to mark it in any way, right? And I thought, I thought that it applies to everybody. Meaning, not applies to everybody, that this is true according to both Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva. Meaning, although Rabbi Shmuel does differentiate a little bit between Yom Kippur and Shabbos regarding what the korbanos, Yom Kippur is a little bit more inferior to Shabbos regarding korbanos, but when it comes to everyday life, I thought that this brisa is true according to everybody, and soon we'll see why he thought that way. However, Kisalikna lahosam, when I made Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael, to over there to Eretz Yisrael, Ashkachte, I found in Eretz Yisrael the Yehuda Breda of Shimon ben Pazi. I found Yehuda, the son of Shimon ben Pazi, and Eretz Yisrael Dika Moiro, the Yossi v'Ka'omar, and he sat down and he said, Rabbi Akiva, that brisa that ignores the difference between Yom Kippur and Shabbos and says, hey, don't blow the shofar when, why? Why do you blow the shofar on Friday afternoon? To tell everybody, hey, stop right there, quickly, turn off the light in the fridge and the Shabbos clock and stop working. Stop doing malacha. Well, in Yom Kippur, there's no point. According to Rabbi Akiva, everything you do on Yom Kippur, you don't do on Yom Kippur, you don't do on Shabbos. What am I supposed to stop from doing? I'm supposed to start eating soon, Leil Shabbos, but that's it. Right? Malacha-wise, it's the same. And that's what Rabbi Kiva believes. Rabbi Kiva believes even in Beis Hamikdash, they're all the same. Right? The same level of Kedusha of Korbanos. But the Rabbi Shmuel, but according to Rabbi Shmuel, it's not true that you don't have to blow the shofar. You should have to make some kind of, hecker, something that signifies, that shows that Yom Kippur is over and Shabbos comes in, according to Rabbi Shmuel. Why? Kevin the Omar, since Rabbi Shmuel believes that Chel Shabbos craving Yom Kippurim. Oh, what did Rabbi Shmuel say? You have Chel Shabbos craving Yom Kippur, right? The Chalovim, you have the afternoon korban, the Tomid Shel Ben Arbaim of Shabbos. Yeah, these chalovim are allowed and should be and can be burnt on Yom Kippur, and not vice versa. But Yom Kippur that goes into Shabbos, stop right there. Hey, quickly, quickly. Hey, bring all the meat onto the fire before Shabbos comes in. Because Yom Kippur can't throw its leftover into Shabbos, because Shabbos is holier. So there is a real big difference in Beis Hamikdash. In Beis Hamikdash, there's a huge difference between Yom Kippur that's Erev Shabbos and vice versa. If so, Litka says my colleague who Rabbi Yehuda Bred Shimon Pazi, let them yes be tokea. Ki hechi de levi yadi, so the kohanim should know the chel v'Shabbos krevin b'Yom Kippurim. They should know that chalovim v'Shabbos are korban Yom Kippurim. Let me explain. If they hear the shofar blowing on Yom Kippur Friday, they know, yeah. Thank you for the reminder. Say the kohanim to the Baal Tokea. Why? Now we know. Oh, Yom Kippur going into Shabbos. Oh, we better stop. Right? You can't bring from Kippur to Shabbos. That shows me that if, let's say, next year will be the other way around. Listen to the words of the Gemara. Chel b'Shabbos kevin b'Yom Kippurim. When it will be Shabbos erev Yom Kippur, right? Shabbos will be Yom Kippur on Sunday. Shabbos before Yom Kippur. Then what's going to be? There won't be Tkiya, and that will show us, remember, the fact that there's no Tkiya shows us we can be relaxed. There's no stoppage. Tkiya is like something to stop between the two times, between two periods. If there's no Tkiya on Shabbos, that shows me, relax. I can now take my time, and I can take the evorim, the pieces of meat, and keep throwing them into the Mizbeach on Yom Kippur, which is Motzei Shabbos, because there was no Tkiya. Tkiya always shows there's like a cut-off point, a cutting dichotomy between the two times, and lack of Tkiya shows me I can continue. I bring the meat onto the Mizbeach Shabbos afternoon and continue into Yom Kippur. And therefore he says it's not true, meaning that statement that there's no Tkiya on Yom Kippur, Erev Shabbos, is only true according to Rabbi Akiva, because he really doesn't see any difference. They're both as holy. Mashenk, and according to Rabbi Yishmael, there is a difference between Yom Kippur and Shabbos, so there should be a Tkiya. Yom Kippur is A, and Shabbos is B. So there should be a Tkiya, not like the Brisa, which is not a problem. Could be the Brisa only follows Rabbi Akiva, not Rabbi Yishmael. However, V'amina le'ano, but I told him, Rabbi Zera, who just made Aliyah, I told him, no. You may be conceptually right, but you're practically wrong. Why? Kohanim zrizin hen. Oh, we saw it before, right? Remember in Daf Chof Amud Aleph. Kohanim are zrizin. What does it mean? Zrizin here doesn't mean zrizus as alacrity. There's a concept, Kohanim zrizin, and here Rashi says, Beki and Bakol. They know everything. I guess it's the teenager Kohanim. They know everything. No, I'm joking. But the teenagers know everything, and also Kohanim know everything. Lahavdil. Yeah? The Kohanim zrizin hem. Why? The Kohanim are the ones who are knowledgeable. It says, Yaakov. We saw it last week's Parsha. The Kohanim, they know their stuff very well, and they're very aware, and they're very on top of it. Look at the very, very frum people, Bnei Brakish, they always know all the halachas, the cheshbon ois, all the brisker, the chazonishnik. They know it all. Don't worry about them. The Kohanim don't need special gzeros. So the reason why, who are the ones at risk of mixing up Yom Kippur and Shabbos here? Only the Kohanim, right? Because when it comes to your own home in Bet Shemesh or in New York or in Los Angeles, doesn't make a difference to Kippur or Shabbos, right? The only difference is vis-a-vis Korbanos. Korbanos, last time I checked, the Kohanim are in charge. If Kohanim are in charge, they don't need the Tkiyah. They don't need to be reminded by Tkiyahs. They know it all. They remember it all. They're very professional and they're aware, and therefore there's no point of blowing the shofar on Friday of Yom Kippur to remind us, not to glitch into Shabbos. Very good. So at the end, Yom Tov is not discussed here. What am I Yom Tov? What? Yom Tov, clearly you cannot bring from Yom Tov to Shabbos or vice versa. Actually, I thank you for the reminder. The answer is clear, no. As we said before, B'Shem Rabbi Kiva, Kol Shekin Rabbi Shmuel, no. Yom Tov, you cannot bring the korban of Yom Tov into Shabbos, vice versa, yes, excuse me, not vice versa, shtiyot. No. If Yom Tov is on Friday, you can clearly not bring from Yom Tov into Shabbos, because Yom Tov is surely less than Shabbos. So you can't dump its leftovers into Shabbos, which is holier. It's always the yes. Yes, Tokim, you're going to see later. Yes, Tokim. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yes. Rashi will mention it actually in the wide lines. Yes. Okay. Yeah, the answer is yes, and we're going to talk about it soon. Amar le Malkshisha Breda of Chisda lo Avashi. Mi amrinu Kohanim zrizinen. Is it really true? Yeah, that Kohanim are zrizim. Are Kohanim so super reliable and so super perfect? They know it all, and you don't have to warn them with the tkiya. Ve'atnan. It says in the Mishnah in the last parak of Sukkah. If you remember the last parak of Sukkah, one Mishnah describes all the many tkiyos that were there. Right? Every day they would blow when they opened the shar. They would blow at least 3 tkiyos b'korban tom and shel shachar, tom and shel ben arbaim. Yeah, even the kohanim, not levim. The kohanim would blow shofar, different times of day in Beis Hamikdash. And the Gemara, the Mishnah there says what happens when you have Friday, there's more tkiyas, Friday, Choloma, all kinds of combinations over there. And one of the combinations is Vatnan. It says in the Mishnah that describes the tkiyas, I repeat, in Beis Hamikdash, the tkiyas blown in Beis Hamikdash. And it says what happened on Friday in Beis Hamikdash. You'd have 6 extra tkiyos, more than any other day of the week. Shalosh la'avti l'sami melocha. As I described to you before, there were 3 tkiyos that came to stop people from doing malacha gradually, from this, from that, from the other, and then 3 tkiyos in one go, boom, 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 tkiya through a tkiya, like Rosh Hashanah, to show, boom, that's it. It's Shabbos. Drop your pen and pencil, drop your computer, that's it. Oh, and that took place in Beis Hamikdash. Oh, so you see, when it comes to Friday tkiyas, leave Yom Kippur alone. But you see that the concept of tkiyas that have to remind the Kohanim, hey, it's Shabbos, stop right there, did apply in Beis Hamikdash and applied to Kohanim, who's in Beis Hamikdash. Ooh, then. And therefore, you see, Kohanim are not so zoris, at least not regarding the tkiyas. And says the Gemara, no. And says the Gemara, you got it all wrong. Let me explain. The story is as follows. Yeah, there's a famous Mishnah in Yuma discussed in Daf Lamed Zayin Lamed Ches over there. The Gemara, there's a Mishnah about the very beautiful chandelier. Chandelier were not invented in Borough Park yet. The chandelier that was in Beis Hamikdash. And that chandelier was basically donated by Helene Amalka, Queen Helene. And what was the idea? It wasn't stam a fancy schmaltzy thing, chas v'sholem, chalila. It was, the idea was that the sun, punkt at sunrise, it was time for Krishma, right? When it was Mount Krishma to say Krishma, then the sun rays would hit that chandelier, it was very nice and shiny, and that was a way for everyone to know that it's time to say Krishma. Everyone knew the time of Krishma. Now, was that for the Kohanim? No, it wasn't. The Kohanim, and that's all sugya by itself, they would read Krishma too early. It's a shala how they did that. The Kohanim, those are the story, the Truma Sadesh and stories, so they had to read Krishma too early. The Ad Kedei Kach, the Gemara says, if you read Krishma the same time as the Kohanim do, you're not Yoitze. It's a sugya by itself about Krishma, yeah? But Lamaisa, so who was that shiny, nice, bright chandelier with the sun rays glitzing and shining? What was the idea? For other people in Yerushalayim, Beis Hamikdash is a very high, tall place. Everybody in Yerushalayim, wherever you're on Yerushalayim, you would see. You're an Erlich Hayid, you'd wake up early. Yeah, your watch is doesn't exist yet. You would see the chandelier of Helene, and you say, oh, boom, now it's time. When I see the sun rays hitting it at that opportune moment, I know that's time to say Krishma. So too over here, you know why they would have the tkiyos dafka in Beis Hamikdash? Not for the Kohanim. They would have it dafka for the people in Yerushalayim. It would take place in Beis Hamikdash, which was, needless to say, the spiritual center of everybody. But it wasn't for the Kohanim. The tkiyos shofar to remind us to stop doing malacha whether it's Friday, right, for normal people, was not for the Koyanim, was for people in Yerushalayim. And by the way, now it makes sense why they blow 3 times. Why 3 times? First of all, for the people who work out in the fields, to stop working in the fields and start coming. The second one, for the people in the shops, they were closer to the residential area. And the third one, for the balabasta, to wrap things up and put things on the plata, on the hot plate. But that doesn't apply to Koyanim. They don't work in the field. They work in Beis HaMikdash, right? So Atkan, very good. So Lamaisa, Koyanim zrizim him when it comes to, but let's just wrap things up. When it comes to Tkiyas of Yom Kippur, Erev Shabbos, in Chinami, there is no need to do any Tkiyah. Why? The regular Joe Schmo, who's not a Kohen, who lives in Yerushalayim, what does he care? What are you stopping here? I'm not doing any malacha on Friday, Yom Kippur, and don't do any malacha on Shabbos. The difference is food, but nobody needs to be reminded of that. Your stomach reminds you of that. There's no, right? No, what's the point? You're doing the tkir for the Kohanim, which according to Rabbi Shmuel and Echinami, they should be aware of the fact that they have to quickly wrap things up and bring what? Bring all the Evorim now on Yom Kippur. Don't postpone it into Motz Yom Kippur Leil Shabbos. True, but Kohanim don't need that reminder because there's reason. Very good. So Lamaisia, those kiss would not apply on Erev Shabbos Yom Kippur. Very good. Now Yom Tov we're going to discuss. Now, Frek the Gemara asks the Gemara the following question. Velitka, you're basically telling me that, as I just explained, that there's no need to be Tokea on Friday, which is Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, Erev Shabbos, why should it be Tokea? By the way, we also have to be aware of the fact, right, as I'm sure, as we all know, that blowing shofar, unless you really have to, is asr. B'darabanan, but still asr on Shabbos and on Yom Kippur and even on Rosh Hashanah. I'm not joking. Stam Rosh Hashanah, I'm showing you the cancer, but otherwise it would be asr, right? Yom Kippur, you can't stop blow shofar. Only at the end, but not stam azoi. Yom Tov, you're not allowed to blow shofar. It's playing an instrument, right? Stam on Shavuos, Shavuos on Pesach, you feel like blowing shofar. Mapitom, clear is the Rabbanon, right? So now, that's besides the point, right? When do we blow the shofar on Yom Kippur? We don't, by the way. When would we have been Tokea on Friday Yom Kippur? In order to warn the Kohanim, stop right there. Don't bring the korban now. The rest of the korban, don't push it into Shabbos. That justifies the Chilul Yom Kippur of blowing the shofar in order to warn them. Okay, that's so far what we would have done. Frek the Gemara, Velitka, why shouldn't you be Tokea on Friday Yom Kippur? Oh, here we came to a whole new story. We're behind. There is a whole new concept here, which will follow us till the end of the perek. The concept is as follows. We all know, I'll translate first. I'll translate and then I'll explain. Translate into, the best English I can provide, and then I'll explain more. Why shall we not blow Friday afternoon Yom Kippur? So people should know that they're allowed to cut the vegetables from the time of Mincha, from like late afternoon, afternoon time of Yom Kippur and onwards. What does that mean? Cutting the vegetables. So the story is as follows. We all know you're not allowed, as we actually just saw in the previous Mishnah, we all know you cannot prepare anything from Shabbos to Motzei Shabbos, even things that are mutter, maybe Dvar Mitzvah. No, you can't, let's say you have a Sheva Brochos Motzei Shabbos. You can't start setting things up, no, right? Even though you're allowed to set up the house, not to prepare for Shabbos to Shabbos. Clearly not from Yom Kippur to Motzei Yom Kippur. And here comes an exception to the rule. Knivas Yorok basically means as follows. To cut the vegetables, but you have to be very careful how you define Knivas Yorok. Let's say you cut vegetables in a way that's allowed on Shabbos, meaning you want to take some vegetables that have the green leaves and the bulb, let's say carrot, the way we get it already clean, are you allowed to, let's say, cut carrots and separate between the carrot and the green leaves on Yom Kippur in order to start preparing your Motzei Yom Kippur meal? Is that allowed? It should have been not allowed. However, there's a special heter, and soon we're going to explain why, to cut the vegetables. By the way, I'm dafka stressing that you Rashi and Tosfos do as well. Obviously, I'm basing myself on Rishonim. You are allowed to do the basic cutting of the vegetable on Yom Kippur afternoon to prepare it for cooking and further cutting later. Let me explain. No, that's you attacked me very well now, and I like it. Very nice. Could be that if you're very particular when you cut dafka one piece from the other, according to some opinions, it's borer. So let's say you're not being very particular. Okay, I hear. Nice idea. Now, when you cut vegetables very, very small into fine pieces, that's toichin. That's a total of grinding. That's not allowed. When you cut the vegetable from the ground, obviously it's koitzer. But when you cut vegetable into big pieces, that's allowed. You're allowed to prepare a vegetable salad and Shabbos with big pieces. So let's say you start the big cutting, but it's still an issue of preparation. Yeah, is your wife allowed? Should this time to start preparing the basic ingredients for a salad she'll make on Motzei Shabbos? Chas v'shalom, no way. Yet on Yom Kippur it's allowed. Why is that allowed? Machlokes Rishonim. The Gemara says that it's allowed because of Inui. What because of Inui? So Rashi says, if you dafka want to start preparing your Motzei Yom Kippur meal during on Yom Kippur afternoon, that's okay. Why? Because Rashi says, will increase your Inui to see the food in front of your eyes, yeah, and not be able to read to actually eat it, yeah. It's lahavdil Moshe Rabbeinu seeing Eretz Yisrael and can't coming in, yeah. It's like a lahavdil for an alcoholic to see the whiskey, and I can't relate to that. Yeah, I'm the opposite. But, yeah, it's like a child into a candy store. Dafka, that good for you. Yes.
Why do we have to be told that? Every woman who has little kids.
Oh, wait. But it's allowed dafka to increase the inu of the woman. Now, the Baal HaMaor says he really doesn't like Rashi's pshat. He says, no, it's a heter. Baal HaMaor says, I saw the Baal HaMaor inside today in two places, and Baal HaMaor, and also it's quoted here in Agod. Baal HaMaor says, no. The idea is to avoid inu nefesh, avoid agmas nefesh, because if you have to start preparing your Motzei Yom Kippur meal on Motzei Yom Kippur, that's really annoying. You're crazy hungry a whole day in shul. You come back from shul with a kittel, your wife has a headache, and your kids are running around, and now you have to start preparing the meal, go crazy. So dafka, they allow people to be a bit more lenient. Yeah, I'm going to stop now. Yeah, and basically, yeah, allow them to avoid the ina of Motzei Yom Kippur and, yeah, do it Friday, Yom Kippur afternoon. The Gemara suggested, and we'll have to stop here because we have marriage. The question is as follows: why shall we not do the tkiya and use the tkiya in a very reverse ecology? Normal tkiya means what? B'Shemesh 2024. Yeah. When you hear the music, I have to stop. I have to rush and stop the malacha quickly. The generator, stop the malacha. Maybe tkiya can be used the other way around to actually show you now is Yom Kippur afternoon. And on Shabbos afternoon, you're not allowed to start preparing cutting vegetables. And Yom Kippur, you are allowed. So you want to stop, you want to create that breakup between Yom Kippur and Shabbos to dafka show now is Friday afternoon Yom Kippur, and now you're allowed to prepare for Motzei Yom Kippur. Well, if it was Shabbos, he wouldn't be allowed. Maybe that's a reason to be Tokea. That's a question of the Gemara. And that will deal with, I will not be here tomorrow night, and I'm sorry, apologies for the late notice. Things came up, and actually, I did know about it before, but I forgot to tell you. I have to be honest, actually. And we have either we'll just have a day off tomorrow, or if I can try and record this year before. We don't have the Bittul Torah. What do you prefer? I can try. Maybe I'll record shir and send it to you. You know what? Either I will or I won't. I'll update you tomorrow, sometime throughout the day. Follow your emails, okay? WhatsApp. You're in the WhatsApp, right? You saw the WhatsApps, yeah? So, live is better. So that's what I'm saying. So maybe it's good to skip and continue on Wednesday. Yeah?
Your boss.
So we'll skip, but you'll be learning other stuff. Don't make me feel guilty, yeah? You okay? And you're not here. So tomorrow we'll have off. You remember when I started the show, and I'm aware I'm online now. When I started this year, I said I do have my family life, my commitments, my story of the holier, so I can't really guarantee. I do my best, believe me. I hardly go to weddings because of this, and I'm happy that way. It's better do it. Thank you to everybody in Torah Anytime. Thank you to everybody who watches us on YouTube. Baruch Hashem, we have more and more views, and thank you to all of you who are here. And may we see Mashiach soon and be able to hear the Tkiya, the real Tkiya, the real Tkiya, the real one. Atzlocha uvrocha. Thank you.